I think that's the problem with this deal, why it isn't happening. And it's really your responsibility, Natalia, to make sure it happens. You cannot
Mhm.
depend on Eden to know what she's doing. Not that she doesn't. I'm just saying
Sure.
I would if the customer comes in and they've got some other lender, this is what I would do. I'd be like driving the bus, you know. The only
Mhm.
place where I wouldn't do this is if you had a Steve in the background, because Steve's really good at selling the deal to the customer. So,
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely give her a call after this.
yeah, I think she's going to tell you one of the two. She's like, yeah, I already went over it with them and they don't have any other money. Or she's going to be like, yeah, that's a good idea. I should talk to them about it.
Well, and she reached out to me on some of the communication she had with them, and she's like, "Did I really not make sense in that email? I feel like I answered their questions, but they're asking the same thing again." And I said, "Yeah, I mean, you did cover it, like
Your
you did."
ability to explain complex things is a big part of being a good mortgage lender. As I said, math is hard and people don't understand it. You have to go over it with them, unfortunately, sometimes multiple times, like they're a 5-year-old.
Yeah, I think. Oh, well,
It's
I
it
know you're right. I
sucks.
was gonna say, I think you're right, but
Yeah.
100%
I
right.
have literally had to sit there and explain this 3 different times to a customer before, where it's like, hey guys, let me explain this again. Hey guys,
Yeah,
let me explain this again. You know, you
and
have
I think
one
I
two smart people. I've had to explain this to a freaking PhD in mathematics before, and they were like, duh, I don't even get it. And I had to explain it like 3 times. Jordan watched this scenario play out with this customer. Both the husband and wife were PhDs. He was a mathematics PhD, and she was like a bioengineering. Like both were very good at math, and they could not understand this.
and I think I give the benefit of the doubt to people, and I probably shouldn't
Don't.
here. Yeah,
They're
just
dumb. People are dumb. I'm serious. It's just people are eternally distracted. People are so distracted in their lives by
yeah.
their smartphones. They can't hold a continuous train of thought for more than 30 seconds because they're on TikTok whenever they're not doing work.
Yeah.
Okay, boy, I just went to a dark place here. Jordan, bring us out of the darkness and into the light, Jordan, if you would, please.
Sunshines,
Do you have
butterflies.
something nice to say, Jordan, over there?
No.
I'm serious. The generation that we're raising right now is staring at their smartphones all day long, looking at TikTok reels. And so they're see, I lost Ty. Ty is off in a different place right now. Ty was doing this. But seriously, they're looking at reels, and reels are a couple seconds long. And even though they're like 30 seconds long, they go, they see 1.5 seconds. They're like, I don't want to see that next one. I don't want to see that one next. Okay, that one's good. Okay, what other ones do they have? Like, that's the world we live in. And so trying to explain the mathematical equations of how you came to how much money they need in a thing called a mortgage with principal, interest, taxes, and insurance and PMI and down payments and interest rates and credit scores. No, they can't understand it. And you got to explain it sometimes 3 times. And then you got to ask them to repeat back to you what you said to see if they understood it, which is why when I started talking about rolling and closing costs, I did that to you. I'm
Hmm.
like, okay, if you understand it, then explain it to me.
Yeah.
You have to not only understand it, but you have to be able to explain it so somebody else understands it. And that means you have to explain it in a very simple format. And then you have to type it all out and show it to them. The only reason to send somebody an email, if I'm in Eden's seat, is we already went over it and they understand it. And as a follow up to our conversation, here's the documentation of what we talked about that you already understood.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's not a, hey, they asked me a bunch of questions and I sent them an email with the answer. It can't be that. And I don't know if that's what she's doing. I'm just saying that's what people like to do is to go, let me just send you an email with the information. No, I got to make sure you understand it or you won't move forward with me.
Hmm.
The Schultzes are not going to move forward until they understand. It's not about if you understand what they're trying to do, it's if they understand. I know I'm like a dog on a bone, and I'm not letting go of this, but I think it's really
No,
important
it's
that
good.
you guys get this, because when your customer can't see it, they're not going to do it. They have to see it. And they're kind of telling you guys right now, we're not doing it unless we know this is going to work. And I just think that they maybe don't understand the math. The difference between them paying closing costs and the closing costs rolled in is half almost the amount of money that they need.
It
And if
from
cash to close is the problem, and it sounds like it is, then that's a very important distinction for you guys to work out with them. It's 15,000 out of pocket, or it's 8,750 if it was a $250,000 house.
yeah.
It's almost half. So if that's their big hurdle, then solve their problem they're telling you that they have. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
I think that is what their problem is, probably. When I'm hearing what you guys are saying, I think that's the problem. They can't see the solution. So now they're trying to put it back on us. Well, if you guys sell it for enough, we'll do it.
Yeah, and that's what they want in the contract. And I said, we're not going to change the contract. The contingency is the contingency. That's what we offer.
So what I would do is, this is how I would close this deal. I would call them up and I would have Eden on the phone when you do, and you run the conversation. You're the bus driver. You're going to drive the bus in this conversation. And you go, hey, I just want to make sure we're all on the same page, because I think there might be a misunderstanding. But here's what I think is going on. I think that we're concerned about an amount of cash to close, and that's the biggest issue, which is why you want it to be contingent upon what the price is that you sell the home for. Because you've got a net to seller, right? And I don't know if Brady, if you did a net to seller for them or not. No?
Nope.
I think it's an important piece of the puzzle.
Yep, I have it. We talked over it. I didn't do it on paper. I gave them all the fees and obviously the discount we're giving them with listing with us and all that stuff. And I didn't do it on paper because what I was really trying to hone in on was the importance of how much money they make. And that's when I hit them with well, here's the thing is most realtors are going to charge you 6% and we're only going to charge you 1.4. So if it's important to you to save money, we're going to save you that extra 1.5%. And they were all giddy. That's when I gave them their range and they were set to rock. So,
Yep.
So yeah. But I have it prepared for them when they get back if they want to see it on paper. And I think that's probably a good idea at this point, since they are so analytical, is to put it on paper for them and say, hey, this is exactly what you're going to make. This is exactly where you're going to be, and have Aiden tie into that. So. And I'll be honest, this might sound bad, it might sound good. I very, very rarely ever do a net to seller. I usually have them in with something else, like metal detecting.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I know it's something that's important and it usually gets discussed, but usually I just sell, I guess, myself and go with it and make it work.
I think it'll go away if we talk about USDA eligibility. We talk about cash to close.
And you said Eden can just check on this even without getting them involved, or
Yeah.
she does have to.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So
She
she
should
can
have already looked at this, honestly.
Okay.
If she didn't, she may have already, she probably did already look at it. I'm not trying to disparage her. I'm just
Sure.
saying, if she didn't, she should have, because that's
Okay.
a huge factor.
So
So it's like
Okay.
cash to close, customer paying closing costs, and then it's cash to close, rolling it in. And so it's like, I would have Eden give them the exact numbers on both of these.